Are you okay, ma'am?
Yeah, I am.
Do you mind if we talk to you for a second, if you're okay?
Well, this is ridiculous. It's a waste of money, a waste of time. All these men out here for what? They're just doing it for money? Oh, this is terrible. This is unbelievable. This is the USA. It's not frickin' third world country.
Are you here from Minneapolis, or Minnesota area?
Of course, yes. I'm Minnesota, born, raised.
I can hear it now.
Oh, you betcha.
I love that. I love that accent. It always means usually a nice person. So
Enunciate our words. That's what we do. Yeah. No,
So-
this is too bad. This is not Minnesota.
is this your first time getting gassed?
In many, many years.
What was the last time you?
Oh, down in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. They were clearing it out. It was time curfew.
What? So what brought you? What inspired you to come out here?
Well, I just couldn't sit home. I've been in marches and stuff, and I had to do something. It's so, what can you do other than wait till we vote again? But this is just crazy. I don't believe it. They have all these men for what? A few people that are against people doing wrong things. That's all. No, this is too bad. This is shameful. And a lot of them are young kids that don't even know the difference. They're going to regret it someday. That's all I know.
Do you have hope that they're going to regret it?
Oh, I know they'll regret it. If they have any empathy for anybody, because what's going on is ridiculous.
Out of the road or you will be arrested.
Oh, shut up. I'd like to meet him in person, giving orders. I mean, they act like they're so powerful. And oh, yeah, jeez.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks.
Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 US citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
Said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly.
last 4 years, we've been held hostage under the Democratic rule. That is horrible, horrible, horrible. We've had more taxes. We paid more for everything.
Wait, you think that taxes?
Part of the deal game.
You think that taxes have been like really high in the last 4 years, right?
It's not just that. We paid for everything. We, the middle income America, was paying for the Democratic, all this.
I just want to clarify. You didn't like Biden and Harris's tax code.
I did not.
Would you ever vote for it again?
No.
Under any circumstances?
No.
It was Trump's tax code.
No, it was Obama's. It was Obama's.
In 2017, Donald Trump passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, in which was his tax code and set to expire this year, meaning under the entire Biden-Harris administration, we were under Donald Trump's tax code. You just told us that you hated that tax code and you never vote for it again under any circumstances.
I would never vote for a Democratic regime ever.
So it had nothing to do with what they were doing and all to do with the fact that they're Democrats. Party over country every single day you're a member of a cult.
This upset me more than watching Renee Good being killed. It's a fucking 17-year-old kid that was working at Target. It bothers me. I called my wife. I was crying so hard this morning. 17-year-old kid working from Target, and they arrest him. He's got his fucking U.S. passport in his pocket because now you got to carry your fucking papers on you. And they fucking tackled him, arrested him in the Target because he was Hispanic.
Yep.
And then the first thing they said is, we don't care if you got your documentation on you. The part that upset me the most is when they released him 3 hours later.
4 blocks
they
away.
jump along the sidewalk outside in front of the mall, not even near the fucking Target. And he's staggering, dazed, and this black man comes up and goes, "You're that guy we saw them tackling." And they go over and he says, "Are you okay?" And the kid bursts into tears. Says, "I'm not okay. They beat me." And the people are going, "Oh my God, he's bleeding from his face," and all these things. And he breaks out into tears. Worse, it's not because they beat him. Every fucking right afforded to us in the Constitution for that kid was taken from him. He was humiliated. And you know what upset me the most? This black man says, "Who can we call?" He goes, and he says, "Who can we call for this?" Because he knew you can't call the fucking police. They're facilitating it. You can't call the governor. You can't call the National Guard. God damn it. This is literally why armed militias formed in 1774, leading to the siege of fucking Boston in 1775. The kid crying broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I could do for him. I spent my whole fucking life defending this nation. My family spent 150 fucking nonstop years defending this nation, and I can't help but get it in fucking Minnesota. From my own fucking government.
Trump's obsession with Greenland is actually starting to make more sense because it turns out that his billionaire best friends like Bezos, Altman, Zuckerberg, and more have invested millions of dollars into developing Greenland. And it's been reported that these Silicon Valley guys are actually pitching for Greenland to become a startup kind of paradise. They're looking to make the island, quote, a hub for artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, space launches, micronuclear reactors, and high-speed rail. And things start to get shady because a Guardian analysis found that all of these tech moguls and crypto tycoons that have a proven financial interest in Greenland have collectively donated over $240 million into Trump's last presidential campaign. And investors in Greenland's mining bought over $300 million worth of shares in Trump media ahead of the election. And those same billionaires, including Bill Gates and Michael Bloomberg, the list goes on, have poured money into a company called Cobalt Metals, which is a mineral exploration company powered by AI. And the goal of Cobalt Metals is to usher Greenland into a modern-day gold rush and to basically help these investors tap into the trillions of dollars worth of oil and zinc and gold and uranium that lay unused under these glaciers. There's clearly a lot more to investigate in this Greenland deal. Is it for national security like Trump says, or is it just to help the rich get richer? We'll continue to report here at News Girl, so make sure to follow to stay in the loop.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm here looking for Marcos de la Cruz. Is he here?
Can I ask why?
Listen, I gotta ask him a few questions though. Do me a favor, can you open the door for me, please?
Now we can speak like this.
Marco de la Cruz, is he here or not?
I don't answer any questions, man.
Listen, man, don't make this complicated, okay? If you don't open the door, I'm going to have to kick the door open. Is Marco de la Cruz in there, yes or no?
I do not wish to speak with you or answer any questions. I do not consent any search of my person, belongings, or home. I'm exercising my right to remain silent, and I want to speak to a lawyer. If you are here to enter my home, please show me a judicial warrant signed by a judge with my name and address through the window or under the door.
Listen, I don't have a warrant, but if you don't open the door, I will go get a warrant. And if I go in there, you're going to be under arrest for obstruction, okay?
Well, I'll wait then.
Okay. Do you want to be under arrest? If I get a warrant and come in here, everybody's going to be under arrest.
No, I'm not going to open the door. I'm sorry.
You're making this way too complicated for yourself, kid. All right, open the door. I'm just here for De La Cruz. That's it.
I already said no, so you can leave.
Okay, I'm going to have to get a warrant, man. I'll come back and I'll talk to you then, okay?
All right, whatever.
All right, let's go.
I would not say that assassinating a young mother of 3 in the street is part of ICE's mandate. ICE specifically has a mandate that has nothing to do with going after U.S. citizens. Watch the video for yourself. You don't have to worry about the politics with me or what I'm going to say or what anyone else is going to say. Watch that video for yourself, and you will see a woman trying to back up her vehicle and leave a volatile scene. And she was met with 3 bullets to the face. You tell me, and any law enforcement officer in the country worth their salt can tell you that that is not how you handle that situation. And so the fact that ICE receives less training, this started with Patriot Act, post 9/11 violation of American civil liberties, and it continues in that strain.
Will you be blind in that eye for life?
From what I've heard the doctors say and everyone else, yes, I will be blind for life. They said my globe was ruptured. I had my lower lid was cut up, and they had to take skin from my temple to fix it. There's a lot to it. I don't remember all the things that they said. I have fractures in my skull that they can't fix, and I can't sneeze or cough because it's dangerous too. I remember also when I shot, there was pepper in it, and I had pepper down my throat. It made it hard to breathe for a long time. They pulled a piece of plastic the size of a nickel out of my eye. They said I had shards of metal, glass, and plastic all throughout my eye and behind my eye and in my skull. And they also said that I had a piece of shrapnel metal about a few millimeters away from my carotid artery. And they said it was a miracle I survived.
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize.
So I wanted to call your attention today to something really, really, really important that I'm not entirely sure has been well enough articulated in the past week. And that is something really big happened after Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent, shot Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. You know, many things have happened since then, but something really big happened. And that is that, first of all, the administration surged many more agents to Minneapolis, and it had to pull them from other operations. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But second of all, people in Minnesota didn't back down. Rather than being afraid and that fear making them stay away from situations where they would encounter federal agents, more and more and more and more people came out. And I promise you, they're afraid too. But they're doing the right thing. They're putting one foot in front of the other. And that action, the fact that people are walking out of their houses and saying no to a federal agent who is destroying our Constitution and overriding the law, and an administration that backs that sort of a person, that is really huge.
There are children here. Yeah. This is a school.
This is a school. You are at a school on school
cowards,
property.
every one of you.
There are children at school. Arresting a teacher at a school. Yes, Christina, we'll call your mom.
Christina, we'll call your mom.
This has all been documented, Christina.
Not just going after brown people now, white people.
They hate everyone. This is ICE. They hate everyone. They hate freedom. They broke her window. They pulled her out of her car. They have tear gas around children.
That's because she rammed my vehicle. No, I was right in front of her. You rammed her vehicle.
You rammed her vehicle. It's all documented. The record will show you are domestic terrorists.
She was turning into school and you rammed in front of her.
I will witness this. I will witness every moment of this.
Thought she was brown, but she's white. Why is she being detained? Nope. I have it on video on my dash cam. You guys rammed her.
Can you upload it? Can you upload it? I will hold your phone if you upload it now before it gets deleted. They have ways of deleting things.
It's like saved to a server.
Okay. It's documented and uploaded.
Yeah.
Get it uploaded as soon as possible. These people are going to come.
Oh, you're a shrug? Fuck you, dude.
That's because he knows he's wrong.
He hates America.
Where is Christina? Where is she?
She's in the back seat of the
SUV?
black SUV.
Amber! Call Dennis. Education Minnesota has resources for this. These are outside agitators, not from Minnesota. They're here to cause chaos. This is what they want.
Hey, why are you filming us, buddy? Alright, fuck you. Now stop. You coward loser.
Because they know they're in the wrong.
I understand that. I'm just passing on the message that we were told by the director. So you guys.
Christina is being taken away. She's in that SUV. She's being kidnapped by ICE. Christina is being taken away.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Stop talking shit.
Pussy.
You American-hating piece of shit. Fuck you, dude. Nobody, every fucking Minnesotan who's speaking does not want you here and fucking hates you. Know that every person you see. Broke her window, drug her out of her car.
You are domestic terrorists. You are kidnapping American citizens. We will witness it.
This is a school. What are you doing here this morning? You piece of shit.
We are respectfully observing. What are they doing with her car? Because they tore her out of her car. They broke her window and pulled her from her car.
Hey fam, I was in Minneapolis and look, we just stumbled upon Greg Bovino at a fucking Speedway for a pre-Hague photo shoot. So, good for him, I guess. For those following along at home, I have nothing against short men, but I do just have to report back there is about a 4-inch height difference. Do you want to get closer so they can see?
Oh no, a little higher there for you.
Still not the same. So Greg, you're standing right there in front of me, but to everyone following along at home, I hope you fucking eat shit. I hope this keeps you up at night for the rest of your life, and no one fucking wants you here. Oh, fantastic language. There's children in here in your fucking vehicle, asshole. Choke.
You hear me? Not on my steps. Turn around and get off my block now.
No, this is a mind to protect protect. You don't set foot in this school again. Move. Let's go. I said and tell your boss this is a safe place.
After careful evaluation, I have determined that the certain public safety costs of this ICE partnership are greatly outweighed by any potential public safety benefits that this partnership may offer. That is why this morning I signed an order terminating the 287G partnership between the Bucks County Sheriff's Office and ICE. Furthermore, I signed an additional order prohibiting my deputies from asking crime victims, witnesses, or court observers about their immigration status during any interaction with our office. To the members of our immigrant communities, you are safe to call 911. You are safe to report crime. And you are safe to come into this courthouse and testify. After months of open dialogue with our local police chiefs and community leaders, they have affirmed that this is the right balance between protecting our community from crime and protecting our community from fear.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Testing, testing. I'm trying to finish my toast, if you don't mind. Hello, good morning, everybody. Test, test, test. All right, we're on. I thought I could sneak in a piece of toast. That's for Robert Perez. He loves to watch me eat. Just kidding. He hates it, but anyhow, good morning. It is 11:53 a.m., so we're still in the morning here in Las Vegas. It's currently 66 degrees. We have a daytime high of 72, overnight low of 41. We're a good 10, 12 degrees above average temperature for this time of year. I keep saying that, but it's just kind of scary. I'm just wondering what summer's going to be like, you know? Anyhow, thanks for being here. Anyone who's asking about rides, you should have watched my video. I posted a video on it. You guys don't watch my videos. Anyhow, Sandy Foltz was here first. Hello, Sandy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you. Danny Pomeroy's here. Nola Carnes. Hello, Nola. Now, I know Nola watched the video because she commented on it. See, I see those things. Anna Moore's here. Hello, Anna. Good to see Anna in the driver's lounge. Mad Mac is here. Slava Ukraini. Slava Ukraini. Okay, I did get a couple little memes. Let's see. We got this one here about, I think DPD might appreciate this. So pedophilia is now accepted and protected by the Republicans. Prove me wrong, Republicans. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Josh Sees is here. Good to see Josh Sees in the driver's house. Petrazi, 1920. Hello, Petrazi. Petrazi is in the lounge. In the driver's lounge. Danny Pomeroy says, what happened, John? It went blank, and it's saying this can't be played in background. Is anyone else having problems like that? It says, what happened, John? It went blank, and it's saying this can't be played in background, John? I don't know. It might be only you, Danny. I don't know if anyone else. I don't see anyone else saying anything. So hopefully that was not on my end. And you figured it out, maybe. I don't know. Johnny Cat says, calm down, you blonde-headed wrinkle sucker. I did not mean to get you triggered. Geez. Yeah. When you can't answer the question and you ask the reporter a question instead, then that means you've already lost the argument. Because you got nothing other than trying to attack the reporter, you know. DPD says, if I were the Irish reporter, I would have said, hey, KK Caroline Levitt, who's your baby daddy, your father or your husband, TikTok bitch? Now, DPD, the man's a professional, okay? Professional journalists do not do that. Now, what I might have said, because I have been a professional journalist, albeit for not very long and for, smaller publications, but I have been a journalist and I have asked questions of people. And I think I would have insisted on her answering the original question. I think I would have said, can you answer the question? Can you please answer my question? I think I would have been insistent on that. Instead of letting her go off on her whole narrative, Robert Perez, hey, Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Good to see you. Robert says, yo, Trucker John, I'm being drained of my plasma here and trying to keep from screaming at the phone here in front of everybody. Well, this is a while ago. I don't know if you're done with the plasma, but if you need to shut the phone off or change to another channel for momentarily, then because I don't want you getting kicked out of the plasma place or whatever, Danny Pomeroy says, them are not Americans beating Americans. They are people they hired from South Africa, and how much ice and masks can went by with $40 billion. Now, there's no, this, just, I don't have facts to back that statement up that Danny Pomeroy said. Luck Dragon's here. Hey, Luck Dragon says, Trucker, I need your email again, but I have to warn you the car is in perfect shape, but it could be a hassle. It's missing the back license plate. It was stolen. Luck Dragon, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. about the car. If you're willing to do that, I'll take it off your hands. My email is just like the show. Basically, the title of the show is Trucker John Livestream. If I remember correctly, it's just truckerjohnlivestream@gmail.com. Just ask Sandy. She's always sending me pictures and videos of the snow in Buffalo and of lovely food that she cooks. Great food. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. Makes me hungry, you know. But yeah, it's just truckerjohnlivestream@gmail.com. Gmail.com. Let's see. Maybe I can get that in link in there a little bit later, or maybe Aaron or Jolie. I don't even know if my mods are here yet. Maybe they can put that link in there. truckerjohnlivestream@gmail.com. Blood Dragon says, "Why you laugh? Am I on all messages?" Blood Dragon says, "I'm serious. If he wants to come and tow it back to." Now, does it drives, right? I guess I would think if I do go get it, which I'm definitely, if, like I say, if you need me to take it off your hands, I will. I would prefer driving it if I could, rather than towing it. I think towing it might be expensive. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I think it'd be more expensive than the gas. Maybe, I don't know, to drive it home. I guess that's one thing to check into. Compare towing costs compared to anything else. Like maybe I could just have, instead of me going up there, I could maybe just hire someone from there, or hire. They do have companies that do just transport vehicles, and even if it's just one car. So I could look into that. There's that option. I was thinking maybe calling one of my kids or my ex and see if they want to take a drive up to Oakland or Hayward, you know, and pick it up and just drive it back. Now, if it's missing a license plate and all that kind of stuff, since I am taking it back to Nevada, I could go to the Nevada DMV and just check with them and just say, hey, look, there's a car I'm getting up in California. Apparently it's missing the license plate and all that stuff, but could I get like some sort of temporary permit or something to drive it home, you know, drive it back here? And they could let me know. You know, there's all kinds of ways. There's just things we got to do to you know, straighten everything out. But anyhow, if you're gonna, like I say, if you're willing to take it off, if you want me to take it off your hands, I will be more than happy to, because I need a vehicle, and really all I need is something that's reliable enough to drive me about, I don't know, 15 to 20 miles to work and then back. So if it'll get me to work and back reliably, and I'm not breaking down on the road or anything like that, then I'm all for it. So, and I'm very appreciative. It's a great thing if you want to do that. So thank you. But yeah, truckerjohnlivestream@gmail.com. A few people have contacted me through that, so I know it works. I've had a few people from the chat that have, besides Sandy, there's been other people also that have used that Gmail address, and so it works fine. It should work fine. Let's see. Josh C says a clean title is all that matters. Might need a bill of sale or paperwork for the title transfer. Yeah, clean title, and usually on the title, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think if it's if it's the official, or at least on your your title, there usually is right on there a place where you write where you sold it. There's a place to write if you sold the vehicle, like who you sold it to, the date, the person you sold it to. It's sort of like a transfer right on the bill of sale. I mean, right on the title. There's anyhow. Well, we'll figure that stuff out. Just go ahead and if you want to, just contact me at truckerjohnlivestream@gmail.com, and we can go from there on that. Mad Max says, stupid woman that gave away her Nobel Prize. You know what? I'm thinking of stupid too, but then I'm like, you know what? maybe she has a chance to be the president of Venezuela. Maybe, if I was in her shoes, maybe I would give up my Nobel Prize also to be if I really wanted to be the president of Venezuela. I don't think I do. I don't think I would even want to set foot in that country. It seems pretty volatile right now. But I mean, and I think as far as in the eyes of the Nobel Peace Prize Association or whatever they're called, that doesn't change who they awarded it to. I mean, she still is the recipient and the winner of the award. And as far as the history books are concerned, or as far as their record keeping is concerned, she just gave him the medal, or gave him, or I don't know if it's a medal or a trophy or whatever. But they probably said on there, huh? But so I think I don't know if it was stupid. If she really wants to be president, maybe it's worth it. Josh sees it's at the bottom of his description. Yeah, it is in the description, on the I think on the channel page. It's in there, yeah. Love Dragon says my girlfriend is hella pissed off that I want to give it away. That's a whole different battle. Love Dragon, if this is going to cause family strife or unrest between you and your girlfriend, please, then don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to be responsible for any breakups or big arguments or whatever, so I mean, it's up to you. Love Dragon says my Grand Marquis is so clean that Trucker could paint it yellow and get his own cab license tomorrow. I don't really want to sell it to anybody else. Look, Dragon, it's. I just wanted to let you know it's pretty awesome what you're offering. It is a really awesome thing. Sandy Fold says, TJ, I wish you would stop showing these awful videos. Sandy, I know it's depressing, I guess, and it's and it does almost we are almost in like beating a dead horse territory here. But I'll stop showing them when they stop becoming so prevalent, because it's all over my social media. That's really all I see. So I wish there were more things going on. I mean, of course, there's Epstein. I could do more Epstein files. I'm not sure if that's what you're watching for. I think what you want is maybe, I don't know, kitty videos or something like kitty cat. But maybe I should put more Epstein stuff in there, and because kind of one of the whole points of all the stuff that's going on is to distract us from Epstein files, I believe. But that's not the only reason that this is going on. But there's lots of other things I could probably put in there. But it would be nice when we get to a time when this isn't such a commonplace thing that's going on, like every day, and I'll enjoy, and I'm happily anticipating the day when I won't have to show so many of those videos. It'll be nice when this is over, Anna Moore says, hello, TJ and fellow loungers and other of the chaotic Department of Homeland Security. Another day, I guess. Deepa D says, I'm very proud of Minnesotans for being brave and standing their ground. That's all it takes is courage and action. We must remember that when the Nazi Gestapo comes for our cities and states of courage. And, and you'd think, after they killed Renee Good, murdered her right there in the street, these ICE officers, they felt emboldened, and that's why you saw the video of like, didn't you learn a lesson? That one guy was saying to the lady, didn't you learn a lesson? Like saying like, see what happens when you defy us? You're gonna get murdered. But really, I think they were really hoping that the Minnesotans would shrink away and hide and just stay indoors, and they've done the exact opposite. And I think it's really, I think, affecting the ICE officers. It's lowering their morale, and they're not they didn't they expected the Minnesotans there to just, you know, like I don't did I have it in one of the videos, or did I not use that one about, you know, complying in advance type of thing, you know? And they're not doing that. They're getting out more and more in bigger and bigger numbers and protesting and standing up to ICE, telling them to get the fuck out, you know, and all that kind of shit. So good on the Minnesotans. And my dad was Minnesotan, and my whole family, my whole dad's side of my family are Minnesotans. So go Minnesotans. I had a whole family there that had the Minnesota accent. You know, I can't really do it, but you know, they were from Minnesota, and they had the Minnesotan accent. But then they moved to California, and they were out here, and they became more Californianized. But you know, they still had a little tinge of that accent going on. Trying to get back. Somehow the chat moved, and now I'm trying to get back where I left off. Let's see. Look, Dragon, I can't breathe. Take a breath there. Lug Dragon says, I took social studies in elementary school and civics in high school. I never thought I would have to relearn them again in my lifetime until Donald Trump. Weird. Yeah, if we're a little rusty on our rights, our civil rights, and our constitutional rights, I do have a pocket constitution. It's not within arm's reach, but it's right on my table over there in my little basket. I have a little pocket constitution right there, and I refer to it from time to time. I think everyone should get one of those and just read that like that's your Bible. And you can, I mean, if you're a Bible reader, you can read your Bible, but I think you should read your Constitution just as much, if not more so, because probably a lot of people with Bibles that have a lot of dust on them. So I didn't mean for you to not read your have a copy and not read it. If you have a copy of it, do some daily reading of your Constitution. That should be just as important. I think that should be just as important as your Bible. For hardcore Christians, I probably just said something really radical. Anyhow, Danny Pomeroy says, hello 911. Yes, you have reached artificial intelligence. My name is Elon. What can I help you with? Okay. Danny Pomeroy doing a bit. I guess that was a bit. Mad Mac says, as depressing and gut-wrenching it is to see this shit, we really must know what is really happening out there to be prepared. When it comes to us locally, I had to mute and look away a few times myself. Yeah, I know it gets to be a bit much. It does get to be a bit much, and I apologize, but I think you guys are right. You know, we got to show this shit. We got to get it out there and not let it go unanswered. You know. Anamore, TJ, how many rides did you pick up last night? Anamore, I posted the video. I guess you didn't watch it. I thought I saw a short video of you heading to the yard. To the yard. No, that was me. That was me. That was after I was done. That was 2 nights ago. That was me going back to the yard after I was done riding my trip. That was afterwards. Anyhow, I did not go to work last night. Spoiler alert on that video if you haven't watched it. Spoiler alert. I didn't go to work last night. Things just got too late to go. And like I said, there's this sort of window. Once you get past this certain time, it just isn't worth me going, you know, because it takes so long to get there. So I didn't go last night, but I'm gonna go today. Today's Friday. We still have Friday and tomorrow. All I need to do is get 20 more rides, 20 more fares. I should call them fares, I guess. But anyhow, rides, trips. Even though on the on my stat thing on my little console there inside the cab, it does say trips. So anyhow, I need just 20 more, and I think I could easily since today's Friday and Saturday are generally the two busiest days of the week for anything, whether it's I think cab driving and all businesses. That's when the most people are here, Friday and Saturday. So I think I'm very capable of getting at least 10 rides today and 10 rides tomorrow, if not more. I mean, there's been many days where I've got 13, 14, 15, and I think I have hit 20 at least once, maybe a couple times. So in one day. So I'm so confident that I can make the goal. The goal was 45 for the week, and I have until tomorrow to do it. So yeah, I just got to make sure I go to work today and I don't puss out today, or let time get away from me. And next thing I know, it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, and by the time I get the bus, and it's not like the bus is waiting right there for me. I have to go, and when the bus gets here and all that kind of shit. So it might be 6:37, 7:30, 7:45 by the time I get to work, and then it's like, yeah, I guess I could work till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I guess I could drag my ass back home, at 7 in the morning or something. Yeah, that just doesn't work for me. So anyhow, Nola Carn, yeah, I know Nola Carn saw the video because I saw the comment. And did I answer you? I think I answered it because Nola said something. I forget what the comment was now, but I remember seeing Nola, and I think I answered it. Or no? Oh, I did. I guess I didn't because Nola said after. I think she says it's okay that you took off. It was like, after all, we are 65, and I think I didn't answer, but I think I thought about responding and going, yeah, that's for sure, but then I don't know, I just didn't do it, but yeah, there is something about being 65 where you don't have the energy and stamina that you had at 35. You know what I mean? So anyhow, Johnny Cass says that was fucking annoying. The chat window was trapped under the soft options on my tablet. What the F? What the fuck? I don't know, Johnny Cats. I don't know what's going on. Luck Dragon says in the Bay Area it's like 38 degrees every morning, and it warms up to about 64 for the past 2 weeks. That sounds about right. Johnny Perez, Johnny are adjusting your mullet haircut. I don't have a mullet haircut. I have long hair in the back. It's just grown out. Maybe it looks like a mullet because I am a bit, a bit thinning up here, a bit receding up there. It's just grown out, and I do need a haircut. DPD says, thank you, TJ. I think about putting that, maybe that up there. Because DPD is always saying, the what do you call it? The pedophile, whatever. Mad Max says, Orange Pedo has himself a young little thing that looks amazingly like his daughter, and they are saying it's an affair. She is his administrative assistant. Wonder what she assists him. I saw her the other day. She's the one, remember, isn't she the one that when Renee Good was murdered, and he was just reciting shit that he heard from, I guess, Karen Levitt and Christy Nome about, he was being run over, he was defending himself, and he was in the hospital. And then someone was like, did you actually see the video? And he's like, no. And then this chick, I guess, handed him a laptop. I think that's his assistant, administrative assistant. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. There's so many things you watch, and you get things mixed up. And my thought is like, I mean, it's one thing to be a gold digger, I guess, but number one, she better get paid up front because he's a notorious stiffer. I don't know if stiffer is correct or in this sense, but he's a notorious for not paying people for the services. And if she's expecting any type of monetary gain, she should get that all up front. And number two, the thought of doing anything with that man sexually is just disgusting. It's disgusting to think about him in his shitty ass diapers. Ugh. I mean, ugh. I couldn't get past that. Love Dragon says your opening videos are always awesome, Trucker, but I'm glad I got to hear the song. Well, it's I've got the song in there. Mad Max says he let her take over the narrative rather than him keeping on the offensive. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be too harsh on the guy. I mean, she kind of just put him on the spot, like that. I mean, I don't mind what he said. I don't really mind that he answered because I thought it was a good answer. Like, he got that out there about how the officer there was wrong for what he did, basically. But then he should have said, "Can you please answer the question?" When she started going on, "Please answer my question." He could have said, "Look, I'm only going to get the one question. Could you please answer it?" Because you're not answering it. Asking me a question is not an answer. Do you have an answer? You don't, do you? You don't have a legitimate response to the question. Why are you deflecting? I would have said. Sunny Foltz, what's on your toast? Just butter. I'm out of jelly. I wish I had some jelly. That would have been nice. Some nice strawberry jam. But I'm all out. My cupboards are bare. I need to go shopping. Deepa D, it's a good thing I am not a professional journalist, because if you clap back at me, that clap back is coming back at you. Yeah, you got to show some professionalism, I think. Otherwise, everything just breaks down and devolves into a big shouting match, and then everyone's shouting over each other, and then it's just a waste of everyone's time. Look, Dragon says, like I said, I have a clean title, but it doesn't have a license plate, and it's not registered. It's non-op, but it only has 88,000 miles, and it will start right up with the jump. Sounds great, Look Dragon. Like I said, I appreciate it very much. Get a hold of me at truckerjohn at gmail.com, and we can go into further conversation about that, I guess. Danny Pomeroy says, if you can drive at home, you need a bill of sale, and your insurance card shows insurance. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's another thing. Make sure it's insured and everything. Johnny Cat says, drive to the Inland Empire, pick me up, and I'll go with you. Hey, Johnny Cats. Josh, he says, I think TJ would need the title and paperwork, get it registered and insured in Nevada, and then bring the plates when he goes to get it. If there's a front plate, I could bring that in, I guess. But yeah, we'll figure it out. DPD to TJ. Well, if you saw the chat, Luck Dragon's been talking about it for the whole show here. Danny Pomeroy, just drive it to the nearest stop and go, oil change and go. Josh sees every state is different. Ruben Michaels is here. Hey, Ruben, good to see you. Thanks for coming on over. Haven't seen Ruben in a while. Anna Moore says, my son bought me a mini condensed book of the Constitution. I am worried that this madness has taken a toll on him. I sent him to the movies today and told him to enjoy and that we will get through. Yeah, sometimes you got to take a break and just go chill out and watch a movie, you know? Danny Pomeroy, you will need the car VIN number for insurance policy. That's the law. If you have full coverage, I believe anything you drive is covered. I don't have auto insurance now because I haven't owned a car since I sold my Cadillac about it's been over 2 years now. What's it been 3 years, 2.5 years? And ever since then, I've just been renting, and so I would just get insurance through the rental company, but I've never had like my own individual insurance, auto insurance. So that's an issue too. Trying to get insurance after you haven't had insurance for a while, that is kind of because I did buy a car. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, or however long it was, a year and a half ago. I actually bought a Toyota Prius, a used one. It was a really nice one. It was a 2021. I got a really good deal. I think I got it. It was, you know how they say if it's too good to be true, probably is. And it was like $17,000. I had to finance it, so I went in, got the financing. They told me everything was good to go. I owned the car for 10 days, and then all of a sudden the bank was saying that they weren't going to do the loan, even though at that time my credit rating was pretty good. Everything checked, my employment, but they said they were going to do it because they weren't going to take my Uber income. And at that time I was doing Uber, and let's see, when I did that, that wasn't. I think was that still my first year or my second year? My first year with Uber, I made over 85. My gross income was 80 something thousand dollars. So they wouldn't take that income for my loan, so I had to take the car back. And I remember trying to get insurance for that car because I had to get insurance before I could drive it off the lot. And I called and called and called. I had to call all these different places. I think I called like 10 different places before someone would finally let me just buy some insurance from them. But because I hadn't had insurance for uh, some amount of time, like a year or something, because I had sold my Cadillac, and then like I said, I had just been renting through Uber the Tesla for like a year or whatever. So I didn't have an insurance policy, auto insurance policy. I would just get the insurance through the rental. You know how when you go to a rental company, I was just getting it insured through there. So um, it was It was a big hassle trying to get insurance just from not having insurance for like a year. And now it's been like I think 3 years or something. But anyhow, I'll find it. I can always figure something out. I always figure something out. Johnny Katz, if you get it away, can you deduct this charitable donation on your taxes? Well, I don't know because I'm not a charitable organization. But I mean, maybe I don't know. That's Johnny Katz. That's I guess Lug Dragon can ask someone there. I guess either as taxman or the DMV or whatever. I don't know. Mad Max slap in the face to the Nobel Committee, though. Yeah, okay. Maybe the prize, making the prize tainted by giving it to someone that absolutely definitely does not deserve it, really tainting the honor. I agree. No, I agree, Mad Mac. Look, Dragon, I just want free taxi rides whenever I come to Vegas. I'll see what I can do. I can't promise anything. I know because that might cross some legalities. That might be illegal, actually. And they do have cameras in the car, so I don't know. I can't promise anything, but we'll see. I mean, I could give you a ride I'll give you all the rides you want in the Grand Marquis for free. Just call me up. I'll come pick you up in the Grand Marquis. That's what we'll do. But as far as the taxi, I don't know. That might be crossing. That might get me in trouble. Johnny Cass, that's actually a decent trade-off. Do you have like a dedicated taxi in Vegas? That would be freaking awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'll come pick you up in the Grand Marquis. Just Mad Mac. Oh, you said kitty videos that sounded like titty videos. My eyes went. All right, Mad Mac, just relax, just relax, calm down, simmer. Mad Max says they just murdered another guy in custody, checked him until dead, or choked him until dead. There was something on my screen here. Choked him until dead. The local police said they are looking at it as a homicide. They don't give a fuck. These ICE motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck. They're sick. It's like another notch on the guy's belt. Mad Mac, yeah. Yeah, sure, you betcha. You betcha. I remember my relatives from Minnesota. They had a slight their Minnesota accent wasn't like the stereotypical, real sharp Minnesota accent, I don't think. But it was definitely different than California or what I was used to as a kid, hearing them talk. But they did say things like instead of bag, like bag, they'd say bag. And I remember as a kid, it just always freaked me out because they would be like, "Give me that bag, hand me that bag," and I'd be like, and even though after I knew what they were talking about, I would still always be like, "What the fuck is a bag? Do you mean bag?" They're like, "Give me the bag." I'm like, I don't know what a bag is. I'm a kid messing around. We're messing around, but they would say bag instead of bag. Like a paper bag, or a plastic bag. Back in those days, this is back in the '60s and '70s. I mean, there were plastic bags, but it seemed like it was more paper back then. Like, hey, give me that bag. What the fuck? What's a bag? And then instead of battery, they'd say bat. They would pronounce the T's. Like that lady. If you heard her, that the lady in the very opening clip, she goes, "We just enunciate our words." She's so funny. She was so cute. We just enunciate our words. She said that. I don't know if you guys caught that. And like battery, like a car battery or like batteries, like batteries. They say like the battery, the battery is dead or something like that. I remember battery and bag were the two words that really kind of tripped me up. Battery, the battery, and the bag. The batteries are in the bag, huh? What? I'm like, am I still in America? Is this America? Are you guys even Americans, bro? This is my cousins and shit that I'm talking to, right? Anyhow, where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? Anamore says, I did see your video of getting food delivered, but I thought you changed your mind. Oh, okay. Because I did. Yeah, you're right, Anamore. Because I did say that I still might go. That's right. So I apologize for, I don't know, for something. But because now that you mentioned it, I did say that I did at one point. I said, well, I might go. But I mean, if you know me, you know at that point I was not going to go. But yeah, so I did not change my mind. I stayed on the couch. I watched the latest episode of Fallout, and then I watched some Grace and Frankie. I'm trying to get through my old Netflix list. I did watch the making of season of Stranger Things, the making of the last episode. I watched that. That was pretty cool because it was kind of cool seeing all the kids. They started when they were like 12 and 13 and 14, and now they're all like 20 and 21, 22. And so it was just, and they would show little clips of them from the beginning. And then it's so I don't know if you guys saw the behind the scenes Stranger Things thing, but I watched it last night. I thought it was kind of cool, and it's kind of emotional. I wasn't getting emotional, but they were getting emotional, and it was kind of emotional seeing them get emotional. So I watched that. So I went ahead and watched some TV. I watched a little bit of YouTube, but I actually watched some shows last night. Fallout and Stranger Things behind the scenes for the season 5 thing, and then I watched 2 episodes of season 2, episodes 1 and 2 of Grace and Frankie. I'm getting more and more warmed up to the show, I guess. I'm not going to make any comments because it'll make me sound like I'm homophobic or something, and I'm not homophobic. So, I mean, no, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to watch the show because I'm going to finish my Netflix list that has shows on there that are 10, 15 years old that I haven't gotten to yet, and I'm going to do it no matter what. DPD says, "Oh, and TJ won my bet with my husband last night. I bet him $10 that you would not go to work last night, and I should have bet more. Damn it! Oh, see there. Now people are betting on me. Now what is there an over under on how many rides I'm going to do for the week, or do you have a bet on if I'm going to even go to work the next 2 nights? I mean, this is interesting. Because I've promised to go to work before and then not gone, so so that's interesting. Anyhow, MJ Daniel says a 6-month-old baby was hospitalized. Oh, I heard about this. Hi, MJ, by the way, up there in Washington State. So, MJ says a 6-month-old baby was hospitalized after federal law enforcement agents in Minneapolis struck a car full of children with a flashbang before flooding it with tear gas. Every day a new low. Yeah, it was like a minivan or whatever, and yeah, there was it was a father. I think it was the father. I think there was like 6 kids in there, or what? Yeah, it was like I think those were his kids, and they tossed a flashbang grenade inside the fucking van full of kids. It is a new low, and it's like, do you not have kids yourselves, you fucking ICE motherfuckers? And the baby, 6-month-old baby, inhaled the tear gas and everything. I haven't heard the latest condition on the baby. That's a 6-month-old. It might not survive. And if it does survive, it's going to have probably breathing problems for the rest of its life. That's why they wear masks, because they think that it's going to protect them. But we'll find out. We're going to find out who that was, and I hope they fucking prosecute that fucker to the fullest. To the fucking fullest. Luck Dragon says, real talk, it's going to be 18 degrees in Chicago on Sunday. How are you feeling? I'm feeling, you talking about because of the Rams and the Rams playing? I'm feeling good. I think the Rams can play in any weather. It's going to be just as cold for them as it is for the Bears. And I don't care how much the Bears are going to claim to be acclimated to it. It's still going to be cold for them and icy and everything else. So I think we can. We can overcome it. Search for You is here. Hey, Search for You. Good to see you. Search for You says, watching the intro, what a bunch of thugs. Yeah, and then we hear stories about the van with the children, and just it's worse and worse and worse every day. They murdered another guy. They choked him out. It's just, this has got to stop. Yeah, MJ Daniels says the way they are treating Americans is the policy of this administration, and we will need years of criminal trials after it's over. MJ Daniels says, I heard they had to do CPR on the baby. I'm surprised they didn't just leave the baby, you know? I mean, I'm surprised they rendered any aid at all. Look, Dragon, you need to get your own taxi license, and then you could drive my car around. I think those probably cost about $1 million, and I don't have $1 million lying around. So I think that's the medallion that everyone talks about. Maybe they're not $1 million here in Vegas, but in places like New York and LA, I think they're $1 million. And I'm sure, I don't know. I would just imagine that it's probably out of my price range, whatever it is here. That's it, Mad Mac. Battery. That's how they say it. Are you from Minnesota also? They say battery. The battery. I always thought it was so weird, you know, because I'm from California. We just say battery. They would say battery. The battery's dead. I need a new battery. My car needs a new battery. Yeah, that's what it was, Mad Mac. Put it in the bag. I need a new battery. Put it in a bag. Put it in a bag. How do you say bag? You say bag? Put it in a bag. Put the battery in a bag. Yeah, something like that. Mad Mac, 3 flashbangs. I saw the video with the father. And more TJ, I'm still betting on you making the 45 rides. All right. That's the spirit. Bill LaCarn says, TJ, college basketball players cheating, shaving points busted. Well, hey, I never doubted you that cheating happens. And I even brought up point shaving. But when you say it's all fixed, that's where I have a problem. It's all fixed every game, every time, every play, everything. That's how I take it when someone says something like it's all fixed. The way I take that to mean is that it's all fixed. But I've never denied that there aren't cheating going on, betting scams and shit. But to say something is it's all fixed, all of it across the board, that's a whole different thing. Johnny Cass, they may be wearing masks, but those dumbasses probably still have their cell phones in their pocket, and you know what that means. Luck Dragon says, did the mayor of Minneapolis visit the children who were hospitalized by ICE? That's the footage I need to see. That's the footage America needs. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for it, though. I'll look for it, Luck Dragon, and if I see it, I'll put that in one of my intros. Josh C says, thought the baby might have internal injuries from the flashbang. I'm sure there's something long range going to happen. It's a 6-month-old, for crying out loud. 6-month-old with the batteries in the bag. Luck Dragon says, I think being able to get your own taxi license should be a $100,000 maximum, no matter where you live. Well, it's not. In places like New York City, and even here, you have to get they call it a medallion. Now, I don't know what the medallion costs in Las Vegas, but I've heard in New York City it's $1 million, and that was 10 years ago. Who knows what it is now? Because that's when Michael Cohen he was buying medallions, and it's very hard to buy them apparently in New York City. I don't know about Las Vegas, but anyhow, Even if it's 100 grand, that's 100 grand more than what I got. So, Mad Mac, bad bag, same A word, bad bag, bad and bag. Well, they didn't. That's not how my cousins said bag. They didn't say bag. They said bag, 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 something like that. And if my cousins would ever watch my live streams, they could come on the chat right now and tell me like that if I'm full of shit or not. But they don't. You never could get family to watch your live streams. They never do. DPD5844 says, TJ, have you, I guess, watched Squid Games? Yeah, I did. All of us are dead on Netflix, and I'm glad you continue to Grace and Frankie, and we could turn it into a betting game. A betting game? Oh, about my rides, I guess. I've watched all of Squid Games. I like the show. I like it. I thought it was a good show. You know, as I'm watching it, there's little problems here and there that I have, but overall, it's a good show. But I just thought, I just thought it would have been so great if, because I'm watching the dubbed version, right, with the dubbed in American English voices or whatever, and I'm watching some of the actors and how they act and how they talk and everything, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, that person, it would have been great if this American actor would have done it, like a famous American actor, like the main star. What's his name? The main guy. I always thought, for some reason, I always thought it would have been great if Lou Diamond was it Lou Diamond Phillips, right? The guy who was in Young Guns and shit, and the Richie Valens story. I always thought it would be great if he had voiced that. And then remember in season 1, the old guy, the old man, if you guys remember, that would have been Billy Crystal. That should have been Billy Crystal. Just think how amazing that would have been. It would have made Squid Games, and then there was all these different characters that I thought, oh, that should have been so and so. Oh, that should have been all these American actors. I was thinking, and it would have made the show a billion times better. See, this is why I need to get into programming, or I need to get into producing, or whatever. I could have made Squid Games even more popular than it was by casting big name American voice to do all the dub overs. I thought it would have been great. It would have been so great. There was some of the women voices I thought would have been great. I forget now. I have to watch it and see what the voice is popping in, or what person is popping in my head. But anyhow, that's whenever I think of Squid Games, I always think, boy, what a missed opportunity. They could have had like Lou Diamond Phillips and Billy Crystal, and I think like Scarlett Johansson could have been one of the women voices. I mean, there's so many things they could have done with that. It would have been so much better. In my opinion, anyhow. Maybe that's just me because I have a weird sense of humor. I don't know. Maybe no one else in the world thinks that would be funny. I don't know. And not that I'm just trying to make it funny, because it's not really a comedy. It's a weird sort of what do you call those shows? It's a weird show. No cards. Okay, sometimes it's fixed. Okay, which is what I said. DPD 54 says it's also been reported that Renee was alive when the doctor wanted to help, so that means she heard what that motherfucker said about her. Just think she may have been saved, which is heartbreaking. Yeah, I guess we'll never know, and that's the thing. It would be nice if the physician at least had a chance to do something. I don't know, but at least give the guy a chance, and they wouldn't even do that. Every single one of those motherfuckers that was on there, those ice fuckers, should be held on something. Even the ones like the ones that were denying medical care, that they should be on some sort of charge. Hey, there's Aaron West. Hello, sorry I'm West. I was at the dermatologist. No need to apologize, Aaron. We're just glad to have you whenever we can have you. I'm just both you and Jolie, just happy to have you whenever we can have you here. Whatever time you can get to give us. I know time is our most valuable commodity, and I appreciate you spending whatever time you can here. Look, Dragon, my second favorite mod. Betrazi, I watch Squid Games with subtitles. I hate voice dubbing in foreign films. The thing I don't like about subtitles is I'm just reading subtitles. I like to watch the video. I like to watch the visual. And so I maybe I'm not a fast enough reader, but I'm reading, and a lot of times they'll do white lettering against a white background or something, and you're like, what the fuck? Could they at least maybe have taken the time to do black lettering during that section or something? I don't like subtitles. Because I like to watch the visual, and I'm if I'm just reading the subtitles, I'm not watching the movie. Luck Dragon says, sorry, I'm such a big Dolly Parton fan that I always love to see Jolie because she reminds me of her. Mad Max, Scarlett Johansson. That's heart. I mean, that was one. I forget. There was one female character I thought Scarlett Johansson would have been great for. There's a few others. All of the characters that were in the movie, I would immediately associate, kind of based on their look, based on their facial expressions, based on the actual, the lines they were saying, the actual dialogue. I was just thinking, oh, that would be perfect for, so and so. That would have been perfect. I would love. So I would love to get a copy of Squid Games and make my own version. Like if I won like a $1 billion lottery, because I would want to hire Lou Diamond Phillips and Billy Crystal and Scarlett Johansson and Rhea Perlman. I don't know, Danny DeVito. I would actually hire those motherfuckers to go into a studio and do the dubs, the dubbing. So I would have to win, maybe not the $1 billion one, but a nice big multi-million dollar deal, and then just make it for even if it's just for my own edification. It might not ever get seen because then you would have, licensing and copyright infringement. You'd have to buy the rights. If you were going to try to show it anywhere in public, I guess, or even on in type of social media or YouTube. I would have to buy the rights. So people always say, like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And they're like, oh, I would buy an island, or I would go around the world, and I would buy a fancy house and cars. Well, I guess I would do that too. But my thing, I would probably spend it on redubbing Squid Games with big Hollywood movie stars. Petrozzi, 1920 says Renee's family has a lawyer and they're suing. Of course, and they should. They should sue the ever living fuck. I think somebody said, I don't know if it was in the chat or where I read it. Someone was saying they should sue them for. I don't know if they're suing ICE. They should sue them for $1 trillion, and I was like, absolutely, sue them for $1 trillion. None of this mamby-pamby shit. Go for it, man. Petrozzi, I like to hear the actors' voices in their native. That's fine and dandy. I'm just saying I can't follow the movie if I can't, because a movie is a movie and it's visual, and I have to see the visual. I have to see what's on camera, and if I'm looking at subtitles, I can't do that. The scene will pass by while I'm still reading the fucking dialogue. Johnny Cass says, I'm with John on this. On subtitles suck. Might as well be reading a fucking book. And it's not even that. I don't have nothing against books. I'm just saying I can't see what's going on because I try. I'm like looking, I'm reading, I'm looking, I'm reading, I'm looking, I'm reading, I'm looking, I'm reading. It's just stupid. It doesn't work for me. DPD says, I hope they win every penny. They deserve it. Yeah, I hope so too. Just sue the ever living fuck out of ICE. Certainly out of Jonathan Ross. I'm sure he doesn't have anything, but just sue the fuck out of him anyhow. Sue everybody. Everybody that was on that street. Every ICE officer that was on that street. Sue the fuck out of them. The ones that denied medical care, everything. Sue them all. Sue Christy Nome. Sue fucking Trump. Sue Holman. I don't give a fuck. Sue Greg. What's his face? Sue all of them. Nola Carnes said on CNN they reported the examiner said she was, I guess, shot 4 times, 2 in the chest, 1 in the shoulder, and 1 in the head. No way she was alive after that. Renee was dead on the spot. But we don't know that, Nola Carnes. We don't know that because they wouldn't let anybody look. Now, Jonathan Ross, he walked up and he took either photos or video of her dead, or probably dead. The wife, Renee's wife, she ran up. She was in the car. She went in, like, after it crashed. She went in and she was kind of like she because all you could see basically was her feet, but she went in there and tried to hold her or tried to do something, and then they grabbed the ICE grabbed her and told her she couldn't go in there, and they threw her out of the car. And I think she probably was dead before she even got halfway down the street there. But that's not the point. The point is there was a doctor there, and they should let him go right there. To render whatever aid he could. It doesn't matter if she was already dead. We don't know that because they didn't let him go in there. Look, Dragon, has anybody seen Sinners? Trick question. Haha, trucker. I just made you say what, Sinners? I don't get the joke. DVD, I like subtitles to a degree because it forces you to pay attention to the characters in the movie. No, it forces me to read, and I can't see what's going on in the movie. And more, TJ, I believe that Hollywood is in your blood. I always wanted to be a actor, director, producer, writer. MC Daniel says, start the lawsuits with Puppy Killer since this is her responsibility. This is what's happening on her and DJ's orders. Sue DJ T2. Yeah, put them all in there. Look, Dragon, reading is good. Okay. Petrozzi's 920 says, get all of Christie's plastic surgery money. MJ Daniel, my name is Sue. How do you do? I don't know why we're bringing up Johnny Cash songs. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but I don't know. Was that one of the characters in Squid Game or something? I don't know. Maybe. MJ Daniel says they waited minutes at least before. Oh, like suing, okay, because of about a lawsuit. I guess that was a joke about a lawsuit joke. I don't know. MJ Daniel says they waited minutes at least before they gave any medical aid. Oh, no, it was like I think it was like 15 or 20 minutes before the EMTs were able to get there because they got stuck in traffic because of all the goddamn ICE vehicles that were blocking the road. MJ says they wanted her to bleed out. Love Dragon says, imagine yourself 12 years old and read the never-ending story again. If you can do that, I believe you do not have dementia. I've never read the story. I think you are a big fan of it. I've never read the story. I don't believe my kids ever read the story. I think watched it on TV. I watched it with my kids, the movie on TV. I don't think we ever saw it in the theater or anything like that. Maybe we rented it or something. I don't know. I just was never really a big fan of it. I, you know, I just thought it was the special effects were really horrible, and I couldn't get past that. But for little kids, I guess my kids liked it, so I mean, we watched it, and we may have owned a copy of it because I think they may have watched it a few times. Um, I don't know. But you know, I, I was an adult watching it with my kids, so that might be the thing. Maybe I watched it when I was younger, but I don't know. Maybe it came out when I was already an adult. I don't know because I'm 65. Maybe I might have been in my 20s or something when it came out. I don't even know. And then with my kids, I was like in my early 40s when I think we watched it with them. I don't know. I never. Because there's a lot of kid movies that I liked watching, like anything like um, the people who made like Toy Story, all those guys. Pixar, like most of the Pixar movies I liked. A lot of the Disney movies I liked. There was a lot of kid movies that kids would like it because of the kid stuff, and then there would be stuff that adults could relate to too. So there was a lot of stuff I liked, but the what is it called? The one you like, Never Ending Story. I just never got into that. Look, Dragon the book is awesome. It was like the first Harry Potter, and all these morons who like Harry Potter. Now, I tried reading Harry Potter. I've told this story before. My son, this is when my son was little. He was in grade school, and my son was like a really big reader, and he liked reading, and so we bought him all of the Harry Potter books, and he ripped right through those. He loved the books. He loved the movies, and so I remember I picked up the very first Harry Potter book. I started reading it. I couldn't get through the first chapter. Maybe it's because I already saw the movie. I couldn't get through the first chapter. I thought the writing was horrible, but it did prove to be a good treatment or a good for the movies. Like a good something good for the movies to make the movies off of. Because I thought the movies were pretty good. I liked the movies, but the first chapter of the first book I couldn't get through it. So I don't know. Gary Johnson says they raided the fashion district here in LA. I told my crews to call if they see them because I'm armed and look white. And the 6-month-old is the new low, Gestapo turds. Yeah. It's and when you think they can't sink any lower, and then you hear about the 6-month-old. DPD says Ross lied about what he did for a living. He told his neighbors he was a phlebotomist. The neighbors didn't find out what he did for a living until the media came around asking questions. I guess, if you're not proud of what you do, I guess you lie about it. Here's this one here. Don't care if it's a little crooked. It's okay. The other day I didn't really cover this story too much, but we did talk about it, about the Ford worker. We did talk about the Ford worker who yelled at Trump when Trump was visiting the Ford plant. I guess it was one of the Ford plants, and the worker said, "You're a protector of pedophiles." He yelled that out, and then this was Trump's response. Flipped him the bird. That's a real classy president we got there. And it says this is the most truthful portrait of Trump ever captured. The scorn in his dead eyes, the disdain, the hatred. This is a soul-stripped bear. America, this is your president. Maybe I will try to straighten it out. I don't know. This is your president. Congratulations. Congratulations. This is who we got. I would say only about half of us deserve it, though. Probably less than half of us deserve it. Johnny Katz, The Secret of Nim. Yeah, I didn't like any of that. I never really got into it. Nola Carr says, I watched a movie last night called Rental Family. Brandon Fraser, no subtitles, mostly in Chinese or Japanese, but got the I think the gist of it. Yeah, because that wasn't a movie. I haven't seen it. I have heard about it. I heard it was pretty good. But sometimes movies will do that, and they film it in a way that you will get the gist of it. But like Squid Games or other things where they subtitle, they're making that for that audience basically. Like South Korea, I think that was a South Korean movie. I think they're making that for the South Korean audience with no regard of worrying about if non-Korean speaking viewers are going to get what's going on. You know what I mean? They just made it like I would make a movie in America, just with English language. I'm not really concerned if you don't get it or not. If you don't understand the language. So I think in a movie like that, they're intentionally just have different characters speak their native, whatever that character's native tongue would be, without subtitles. I would suspect that the Brandon Fraser character is probably carrying the load there to make it watchable or make it understandable. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I probably shouldn't comment on it. But I think there's a difference, though, than a movie that's just made in a different country and they're just making their movie, to a movie like that's probably intended to be shown in America. Look, Dragon, please don't get into an argument with me about. Look, the only thing that I will say is that I never liked it and I never got into it, and I'm entitled to that. You're entitled to love the story, and you can love that movie and the book all you want, and I will not argue with you about that one bit. You're certainly entitled to love that story, the books, the movies, and I'm glad you have something that you like that. MJ Daniel, Harry Potter's were fun. Never read the books. DVD, as a grown woman, I loved reading the Harry Potter series and the Lord of the Rings. The books were better than the movies. Maybe the writing got better as she went along in the Harry Potter series, but like I said, I couldn't get through the first chapter. Johnny Katz says how White House collapses into chaos after a reporter refuses to back down about ISIS data. Okay, that one's better. Big Hook, the Big Canuck is here. Hey, Big Hook, good to see you. Says Big Hook says this small-fingered vulgarian Drumpkopf is a disgrace. Well, my fingers aren't that big either. I mean, if I do this, look. So I guess you could make fun of my fingers too. I have little fingers. Apparently, that's it, folks. That's as big as my finger gets. So you can make fun of my fingers too, I guess. 007 Kevin Trollslayer is here. Thanks for being here. It looks like Boston Brian might be ending. Maybe some folks are coming over from BB's show. I've had him on my TV the whole time. So welcome. Anyone's coming over from Boston Brian, welcome. Thanks for coming over. Gary Johnson, did you all listen to the Sasha Riley interview? Whoa, ass fucking Christ, it's hard to listen to. I haven't listened to it yet. I've been hearing some reports on it, little things here and there. I haven't listened to it. All I know is that, I mean, I don't know, but I did see Texas Paul put out a video saying that the math don't math, that the time frames that the guy is listing that doesn't add up, or they're not right. Like he's saying things happened, like when Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't even in the country yet for another 5 years or something like that, and that was one example. So Texas Paul says it's not. I'm not saying I don't believe him. I'm not saying he's a liar, but he's saying the math don't math. But then there's a lot of discrepancies about, I guess, some of the time and dates and stuff. That's all he's saying. So I think Texas Paul is just trying to put out like a warning about don't take everything just as being gospel truth. It needs to be looked into more. It needs to be vetted a little more, maybe. DPD 5844 TJ Sabula has made over $800,000. He has since disabled his GoFundMe account. He was asking people to donate to other causes. That's the same exact thing that Renee Good's widow did. Someone had a GoFundMe for her and for the family. I guess it got up to 1.5 million, and then she shut it down, and she asked other people to donate to other causes too. See, that's what good people do. And then I brought up the example of Erica Kirk. They had a GoFundMe for her. This is a while ago, so I don't know, if it's been shut down or how much it's made. But at the time, they were reporting it was up to like 8.5 million, and she had no intention of shutting it down. Sandy Foltz, in 2 days, 2 more days is my birthday. All right, Sandy. Well, happy early birthday to you. And we'll be sure to say happy birthday also in 2 more days. Aaron West reports that I got my approval for my voluntary separation, and they changed my separation date to April 30th instead of February 28th. What the hell? Wow, so then you got to be with them for an extra couple months, I guess. DPD says at Gary, I'm not sure about that. What did Gary say? Taco is a fucking monster. Oh, about the Sasha Riley. And then DPD says, I haven't personally listened because it would break my heart and soul, but then I hear Texas Paul and Political Punk, and they claim the story is not real. I haven't heard what Political Punk has said. I just heard what Texas Paul said, and he's basically saying, he's not saying the guy's lying, but he says there are discrepancies, and it needs to be probably looked at a little more carefully. MJ Daniel had one for punk ass Rittenhouse too. Had what? What did I miss from MJ? Not sure what he had. What was the had one? MJ. I don't know. When you read stuff and it's behind, and I can kind of not pick up what that that's in response to. Um, but MJ Daniel, good Christians and pro-life, a couple of the biggest Republican lies. Big Hook so wins the next Rams game. It's going to be Sunday. It'll be, if you're in the Central Time Zone, Big Hook, I'm not sure your time zone. I forget what part of Canada you're in. But Central Time, it's going to be 5:30. It'll be 3:30 here in the Pacific Time Zone. 3:30 Pacific Time Zone. They're playing in Chicago against the Bears. The Bears. And it's supposed to be cold as fuck. But I'm still looking forward to it and hoping I'll be rooting for the Rams. Chris Doug's here. Hey, Chris says February 29th, and you would have to wait until leap year. Yeah, there you go. Oh, a GoFundMe. Oh, they had a GoFundMe. Okay, for Rittenhouse. Yeah. Thank you for responding back. Damon Dog. Hey, Damon Dog, the big dog, that tiny little finger. Like I said, my fingers are tiny too, so I guess I'm just as bad or something. I don't know. Speaking of Texas Paul, I had Boston Brian on, and then it just went right to Texas Paul. Now Brian is done. Here's Texas Paul from 5 hours ago. I'm not listening to it. I just have it on. But I will give, just like I gave Boston Brian a thumbs up, I'm going to give Texas Paul a thumbs up. Let's see. Big Hook says, your intro was really good. You seem to have a knack for putting out the viral unseen clips. I am in Western Pacific Time Zone, same as you. So if you're interested in the game time, I'm not sure if you're a big football fan, but if you're interested, the Rams-Bears will be on at 3:30 in the afternoon, of course. And to tell the truth, I forget what channel's carrying it. I don't know if it's on Fox or what. Or I think it might be NBC. Now that I remember, I think it's NBC. Damon Dog, hello, Damon Dog, the big dog, coming on in. DBD for Day 44 says it's supposed to snow in Florida and drop down to 20 degrees. Really? In fucking Florida? And they've been having like 80-degree weather there in Florida. And so, wow, it's crazy. Mad Max, Seahawks, Niners are on Saturday for you who care about it. I mean, I do care about the game because, whoever wins that game, if the Rams can get past the Bears, the Rams will be playing the winner of that game, the Seahawks-Niners game. I think the Seahawks are going to win, but you never know. You never know. Look, Dragon, what's WWDD? Who's DD? What would Donald Duck do? I don't know. Oh, what would Damon Dog do? Maybe it must be Damon Dog, right? Okay. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Rams, and whoever they're going to play the winner of the Seahawks Niner game. If they or whoever wins the Rams Bears game will play the winner of the Seahawks Niner game. Gary John says, same boat, John. I got Mexican sausage fingers from my grandpa recipes. He fought the Nazis. Great man. See there? So even some people with short, stubby little sausage fingers could be good people. But look, I'm not flipping you guys off. I'm just showing you. Here's my middle fingers. And I actually posted a video of me flipping off the Trump International Hotel here in Vegas, and all people did was make fun of my fingers and how short they were. So I'm like, well, fuck you guys. I guess I have short fingers. I guess that's what I get for making fun of Trump's short fingers. I have short fingers too. I don't know. I mean, what the fuck? We're supposed to have big, giant, long fingers? How long does a finger got to be? You know, I don't know. Big Hook says CBS viewership is down almost 30% as Barry Weiss continues to destroy a channel that had a bastion of truth reputation. They're all going downhill, man. I mean, even CNN that was maybe not perfect, but they seem to hold some journalistic principles pretty much throughout the years. You know, they were. I thought CNN was pretty good actually, and then what the last year or so or a couple years, they've gotten pretty bad. They're all capitulating to Trump. It seems like. That's why I put out the video, Sandy. Sandy's always complaining about those videos. That's why I put them out, because if I can get 29 people to watch it, then you know, I don't know, better than nothing, I guess. Look, Dragon, if I were Damon Dog, I would paint a picture. Damon Dog, yeah. What would Damon Dog do? He would paint a picture. Damon Dog says, I started a new one last night at Dragon. I got mad at the one I was painting last week and trashed it, laughing out loud. I think you should paint one of me. Oh boy, I'm just kidding. All right, so what else? Oh, then I didn't grab too much. Then this is just a crop. I just cropped it down. Man, this thing really pisses me off. I just cropped it down a little bit. Oh, see, I hate it. I'm trying to zoom in on that, and then it zooms me in. Come on, Prism app. Come on, Prism app. Stop being so stupid. Anyhow. Love Dragon says, I wrote 3 songs yesterday and I hated them so much I didn't even remember them today, bro. Damn Dog, I will try. You don't have to. I was just kidding about me. But anyhow, we're almost at 2 hours. I should probably end the show pretty soon so I don't get too late in the day and I end up not going to work. You know what I mean? We should probably end it pretty soon here in the next few minutes. Big Hook says conservative ownership has made the slant of media bias way worse. Opinions not based in facts-based evidence are where conspiracy theory hogwash is born. Taking news out of making it like a public service that networks would provide and radio stations would provide. It was like a public service to provide news that was objective and it was well sourced. It was investigated and vetted, and it was trustworthy. I think for decades, and then until the '90s, the mid '90s, things changed. Or at some point, it changed. I'm not just talking about the Telecommunications Act, but at some point, it became where it wasn't like this sort of public service. It became entertainment, and then it was about advertising dollars and ratings, because higher rated shows could demand higher advertising rates. So that's what it became. when it became that, that's when everything changed, and it's just gotten progressively worse as we've gone through as time has gone by. It's more and more about ratings and to bring in the ad revenue, the ad rev. But the thing that has changed, I think, especially since Trump in his second term, is they are, like you say, Big Hook, there is this slant, and it is to kiss Trump's ass. As far as the ownership, I think they've always been conservative in a way. I think they've always been Republicans. DPD says, keep in mind the only way to see and hear what is really going on is through independent media because legacy media has failed us all. Yeah, we that's true. Damon Dog says, but I could never be as good as Fancy did on you in that rock concert with a cape. Yeah, that was a good one. Where is Fancy? Nola Carnes, $5 super chat. Yippee, Yola Carnes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Nola Carnes' super chat is coffee money. Well, thank you. I could always use that. I am starting to get low on coffee already. So, cheers, Nola Carnes. Thank you so much. Yippee. MJ Daniels says that America changed for the worse starting with Ronnie Reagan. Yeah, especially with Ronnie Reagan. I mean, you know, we could go back as far as even Nixon as being a big turning point, but I think you're right. With Ronnie, it was like with Reagan, it was kind of on steroids. You know, the immediate attack against unions, union demonization, breaking up unions, just clearly shows what the Republican Party is all about and who their overlords are. Because the overlords, the oligarchs, the big multi-million, and at that time, there might not have been too many billionaire donors, but certainly multi-millionaire donors, they don't like unions. They don't like the labor force having a collective voice, having collective bargaining. They don't like any of that shit. It's bad for business. It's bad for their bottom line. They might have to, God forbid, pay a little extra in wages. You know, they might have to maintain a safe and healthy working place, God forbid. You know, so that was the immediate thing with Ronnie Reagan that I've noticed, that I remember, is the demonization of unions and how unions by the time he got out of office and maybe and HW, you know, got out of the office, I think we went from having all jobs, about 1/3 of American jobs being union, to probably 1/10, thanks to Ronnie Reagan and the Republicans and their demonization of unions, and how people in my generation, I was born in 1960, most people in my generation are pro-union all the way. We're pro-union. People born in the late 70s, I don't know if that's what gen is that? Is that Gen X? Is that, or is that whatever that is? My brother and sister are in that generation. They were born in the very late 70s, and I don't think they've ever given a fuck about the unions. They're totally conservatives. I love them. Hey, I'm not trying to talk shit about my brother and sister behind their back and everything else, but I'm just trying to point out the differences in the generations. My generation, 60s, we're pro-union. Their generation, you know, like late 70s and into the 80s, you know, they were little kids, grew up in the 80s and 90s. They always talk shit about unions. When we've had conversations. And the funny thing about it is our dad, was a big union guy for almost all of my life. But then things changed. It's kind of funny. How we get influenced, right? My dad was a union guy. I remember going to union conventions with him. I remember seeing my dad run for office, run for the local, and he was like the treasurer or something like that, or whatever it was. I don't think it was treasurer. I think he was I think he kept the notes. He was the note keeper or whatever. I don't know, but he was always in the union. And I'm a pro-union guy. By the time my brother and sister were like little kids in the early 80s, they were just little kids, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And then they grew up through the 80s. Then things changed where where my dad worked, it got bought out by another company. He ended up going into management. And then for all their life, he was in management. They really didn't even know about the union. So I think between that and growing up as they were teenagers and growing up through that, it was like Rush Limbaugh was really big on the radio, and that would be playing on the radio in the car. It was Rush Limbaugh, and they would listen to, so they got influenced, and so they're right wingers. I grew up during the turbulent '60s, the Vietnam War, and with Robert Kennedy being assassinated, Martin Luther King being assassinated, and I know JFK was assassinated when I was 3, but I don't really remember that. Malcolm X was assassinated, and at the time I didn't even know who Malcolm X was, to tell the truth, when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. But I knew who Robert Kennedy was, and I knew who Martin Luther King was. And when they were assassinated, I was bummed out. I was sad. I was frightened. It was a frightening time. Vietnam War, assassinations, protesting in the street, Kent State, which was a little later, like 70 or something, but still. So I grew up through that time, and so I became a liberal. I was a liberal my whole life. I hated Nixon. I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I was watching Nixon. I was watching the Watergate hearings. I fucking hated that motherfucker. And I was, 12 years old. I couldn't vote. But I became essentially at that. I was a Democrat at that time. And when I was 10, 12 years old, I was already a Democrat. My brother and sister, like I said, they grew up basically in the 80s and 90s, and they have Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and the legacy media changing and everything, and they are really hardcore Republican conservatives, George W. Bush supporters, Trump supporters, the whole thing. And it's just kind of fascinating to me. I know it's anecdotal, but I guess it's anecdotal, but I think it kind of shows the differences of growing up and the influences that we're, that are around us, that we're influenced by, and how it shapes us. I've been a union person. I've been a Democrat, liberal my whole fucking life, even as a little kid. And I can just see the difference, what I grew up with and what my brother and sister, what the era that they grew up in, and how different we became in our politics. We're like, it's night and day, the difference. It's any wonder that we have any Democrats at all from 1980 onward. It's a wonder, but we do have a lot of younger kids coming up that I think, like I had in the intro, the one kid, I forget his name. Was that Dean Withers or something? Who kind of put that woman in her place. Who was trying to blame all the tax problems on the Democrats when it's the Trump tax plan that's fucking everything up. MJ Daniel, look for the union label. Yeah, I remember those ads. TBD and bravo to the UAW union for standing up for you and with TJ Sabula. Oh, TJ Sabula, that's the one who flipped off Trump. Okay, yeah. I was trying to remember who TJ Sabula was. Yeah, he's the one who flipped off Trump, right? I mean, no. I'm sorry. He's the one that told Trump that he was a pedo protector. Trump flipped him off. Anyhow, David Dog, you take care. I gotta go. All right, David Dog, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate coming in, and hopefully you gave me a thumbs up. And so get back to Peyton. Walter Makarovich is here. Hey, Walter, good to see you. Walter says, good afternoon, Trucker John. Keep bringing the truthful introductions every day. You are very much appreciated. People must see the facts you bring. Well, thank you, Walter. I'm glad you enjoy it. And I enjoy finding it, and I edit those. I put them together, piece it together. I enjoy doing all that. Petrozzi 120. I remember that idiot Wally George. Even as a kid, I thought he was an ass. Wally George, that rings a bell. I'm sure I'm sure I saw him. He was Wally George, wasn't he a news commentator or something? Um, look, Dragon Rush Limbaugh was really good at his job. It's just too bad I didn't agree with him much. Rush Limbaugh, okay, I guess you could say he was good at his job. If his job is to attack, always attack, anyone that's not a Republican, anyone that was not a part of the GOP, just to attack, to bend the truth, to out and out lie, to be so defamatory, to usher in and just contribute to hatred, to anything, to the different, to the other, to anything different, to just bash marginal groups, to bash LGBTQ plus, to bash women in general, the feminazis and all that kind of shit. If that's doing a good job, well, I mean, if that's a job, I don't know, but I mean, I understand what you're saying, but yeah, he was good at getting all that, but he also had an unfair advantage. He was propped up by big money, by big media money that just put him on markets all over the country, multiple stations in one market, flooding markets, no matter what. Like the ratings didn't matter. He was propped up by big money. He was paid big money, but his shows were given big money. The stations, to put up the stations and to run those shows on hundreds, if not I don't know. I say thousands. I don't know, but I've heard as high as at the peak as being like 1,200 stations across the country. And as a truck driver, I can attest to the fact that if I was trying to listen to like over-the-air radio stations, just a regular celestial, I guess, station, whatever, and a lot of times nothing would come in except almost never had a hard time finding a station that would play Rush Limbaugh. And then that whole lineup, there would be a lineup. There would be with O'Reilly and Hannity and Glenn Beck and all those motherfuckers, Michael Savage. They had that whole lineup, and you could never, almost never be in a place where you couldn't get one of those stations. But I couldn't get any other station. I couldn't even just get a music station or a sports station. I couldn't, and if there was anything when Air America came around, couldn't get Air America or anything like that. But I sure as hell could get Rush Limbaugh, and sometimes not on just one station, but on 2 or 3 stations in that same market. And he was propped up. It was like an artificial. I think it was certainly he got high ratings and he made a lot of money and had a lot of viewers, but I don't think he could have done it without the help of big money that really propped up his show. And other shows weren't even allowed. Anything left of center was never allowed to even to flourish or have a chance. They never gave it a chance. It was total manipulation. Gary Johnson, when I was young, I thought Reagan was awesome. He was the worst thing that ever happened to this country. Yeah, I don't know how young you were. You might have been a little kid, so I can understand that. But I was, my first election that I voted in was the I guess that was the 1980 election when Carter ran against Reagan. I voted for Carter. I was I guess I just turned 20, or yeah, in 1980. I just turned 20 because when I was 18, that was midterms. I guess I voted in the California midterms or something. But as far as my first presidential election, it was the 1980 election, and that was Carter versus Reagan. I voted for Carter, and I absolutely already hated Reagan because I already knew him from being a governor of California. I knew him. Uh, he ran in 76 and he dropped out in 76. He dropped out early. But look, he came back and he won in 1980. That's why I say you can't count people out. Richard Nixon lost to Kennedy in 1960, and then in 68 he ran again and he won. And he won 2 terms. He won twice, but he left early in the second term, but he won twice. So that's why when we talk about Kamala Harris, well, Joe Biden ran more than one time before he finally won. So don't call Kamala Harris out. She might run again. Who knows? Big Hook says, please watch The Brainwashing of My Dad by Jen Cinco. Well, the book was by Jen Cinco. I don't know if the documentary was by her. But anyhow, Rush Limbaugh was called out as an evil influence. Absolutely. I agree with that. Petrozzi, the left should have had someone on the airways to rival those fools. Like I said, Rush Limbaugh was propped up with huge amounts of money from right wingers, from right wing companies that put him on stations. Even when it wasn't, like I said, they would put him on 3 stations in one market. They flooded the zone. They overloaded the market with Rush Limbaugh, and he was propped up. They were willing to even eat ratings if they had to. And not that he wasn't popular, not that he didn't get good ratings, but there were some places where there might have been a left wing type of show that might have been up and was doing better than ratings, and then they would cancel it. But you're right though. Where was our lefty? Where was our left wing billionaire or at least left wing production company that could put these shows up, put up a left wing show? Now they tried with Air America, but apparently the people who started Air America turned out to be just corrupt or lousy business people, or I don't know. That's Stephanie Miller. There was a lot of different, or Randy Rhodes or somebody. I think it was Randy Rhodes talked about how they turned out to be, like they didn't know what they were doing or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if there's a company with a big money that was able to prop up Rush Limbaugh, why don't we ever have someone that could do that, or a company that could do that? And people have been saying that for years. Tom Hartman has been saying that he was, whenever he would run into some billionaire, he's like, why don't you put more stations? Why don't you go into radio and do radio? And he says usually the response is because radio is dying or something. The future generations, they're not really into radio. They're into streaming and all this kind of shit. Which now is probably true now in 2026. But we're talking about in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and even the 2015s. That's 20, 30 years of stations we could have put all. If they're going to put a Rush Limbaugh on 1,000 stations across the country, why didn't we have something that would put, Stephanie Miller on 1,000 stations across the country, or Hal Sparks on 1,000 stations across the country? You name it. Randy Rhodes on 1,000 stations across the country. Why didn't we have and even if we didn't have, they always say George Soros. Well, George Soros I don't think did shit. I mean, he's contributed, he's philanthropically to causes, to charitable causes and to good causes, but I don't see him putting up making radio stations and all that kind of shit. Why not? Why didn't George Soros do some shit? Why, or who's the billionaire that runs from California all the time for governor? And I think Tom Hartman talked to him and said, hey, why don't you put some stations up? And he's like, because that's not where it is. The message is getting out on the internet. Well, you know what? You can have 1,000 radio stations, and you could put all those shows on the internet too. Putting stuff on the internet's pretty easy. If some dumb fuck like me could put this show on the internet, then just think what someone with half a brain and $500,000 could do, or $1 billion could do. So I mean, you could do radio shows and the internet simultaneously. So it was a lame ass argument. I don't know, the Democratic Party leadership, people with money, they would always poo poo doing radio stations for some reason, and they would always just say, "Well, everything's going to the internet." Well, we had a period there. Talk about missed opportunities. You know, we could have started in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, the 2000 teens. Instead, they went with Air America in 2001, I think it was. And it lasted a few years, and the management was so poor, and I think one of the guys was ripping off people, and it just was a disaster. But so we needed a good, well-run, well-funded organization to put these stations across the country to match the Rush Limbaugh, all those was it Premier Network and all that shit, and they never did. Barbara Nicholas, picture me, curlers in my hair, pink bathrobe on, arm extended, finger pointed at the door. Trucker, get your ass to work. All right, Barbara, all right. All right, yes, I need to get my ass to work. Thank you, Barbara. All right, and with that, we should probably end the show so I can get my ass to work. I want to get my 45 in. If I don't go today, I will not get it. I have to go today. If I want to get that 45 in, I have to go today and I have to go tomorrow. I cannot miss either day. I can't miss today and I can't miss tomorrow. Because I'm probably, Fridays and Saturdays are the busiest days. I should be able to get at least 10 on each day. I'm hoping. But I have to get there. So, yeah, you're right, Barbara. Get my ass to work. Thank you so much. Big Hook says Randy Rhoads is apparently cancer-free as her last screening. Yeah, I read her she posted that on Substack. I read it, and I was so happy about it. And I have noticed that it seems like she's been posting more kind of political stuff lately. Because for a long time, it was like, didn't hear anything from her. And she was going through, those treatments, and very rigorous, very exhausting, chemo and radiation and all that stuff. But now she's been making a presence. She's been doing a lot more Substacks. And I'm thinking and I'm hoping maybe that's her kind of getting back into the groove. And maybe at some point she'll be back on the air. I'm hoping. I know Brett, her producer, has been keeping the seat warm for her and doing the shows and keeping that channel going. And so, I don't know when, and I haven't read anything, any announcements, but maybe she's sort of slowly getting back into it. She's writing about Renee Good. She's writing about ICE. She's been writing all this stuff on Substack. So maybe, who knows? Maybe it might be a few months. It might be 6 months. I don't know, but I think she's kind of getting back into it, getting her strength back, and getting her, deciding if she wants to do it. Doing a show. It's not even me just doing this is kind of, I'm not complaining, but it's a little exhausting, or it's a little, it takes energy and to do it. And she does a much more, like, I'm just reading chats and I'm just sort of winging it. Randy Rhoads, she's prepared. She's got every day. She probably does 4 or 5 hours of show prep before she even goes on. And she's got stacks of papers as she's going. She's got all of her videos all lined up. She's got she's got a format for her show and all the topics she's going to do. So it's not an easy thing. And for coming off of radiation and chemo and all that, she's going to get her strength back. And then you have to have the will to do it. So who knows? She might. I'm just shooting from the hip here. I have no idea. I'm kind of talking on my ass. I have no idea if she has any plans to come back on the air and do her show. But I'm just saying I'm starting to see more and more from her writing, and maybe that's a sign that she might be getting back into it. But she's the same age as me, a little bit older. I think 60. I'm 65. She's like 66, I think, or 67. We don't have, and just without the chemo and the radiation, you kind of lose a little energy. You slow down a little bit. So I'm hopeful. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe at some point. Maybe, and even if she only goes on maybe once a week or twice a week, she doesn't do it daily. Let Brett fill in the rest of the week. Maybe she'll do 1 or 2 days a week or something, which would be fine, which would be great, just to have her back and get her voice out there, because she's an important voice, I think, with getting out the truth, getting out the news, and cutting through the bullshit. Randy Rhodes is probably the best, at that. So if she can get out there, if that's what she wants to do, it has to be, it's up to her. You can't, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. So we can't make Randy Rhodes do something she doesn't want to do. But if she wants to do it, I'm all there for it, and I hope, and I would love to see Randy back in front of the microphone at some point when she feels up to it. And like I said, even if she only does one show a week, I'd be down. Anyhow, but that's up to her, and we'll see how it goes. Big Hook says Randy Rhodes has the knowledge and source for fact-based reporting. She is deeply missed. Yeah, she's an amazing person and does amazing shows and stuff. DPD says, great show, TJ. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe and stay strong. I do believe you will make it into work today, unless I don't. Is that a cookie monster eating cookies? I don't know. I'll probably go get something to eat, but that's neither here nor there. Anyhow, Luck Dragon, we just started a GoFundMe and get Trucker John $1 million so he can buy his own cab. Blood Dragon, you're not gonna just you lock onto something, and how about a GoFundMe just so I can go get the car? Anyhow, I am. All right, guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. Have I told you guys how awesome you are lately? Well, you guys are awesome. You guys are totally awesome. And I guess you guys were ready for Friday. I guess I didn't put that one up today. Let's see here. Uh-oh. What am I doing? There we go. I'm trying to shrink that back down. But anyhow, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate you for hanging out. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the subscribe button. It don't cost you a dime. Make sure you share the show so others can do that. Big Hook says the Bears versus Rams. Who wins? Of course, Rams. Rams, of course. And Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper. Thanks for being here. And I think someone else wants to say something. Yeah, you trucklers out there, thanks for being here. Please, for the love of God, make sure you're here every day, every show. No excuses to miss the Trucker John show. No excuses. Watch the Trucker John, like and subscribe and share. Keep us going. Would you? Won't you please? Look, I'm on my best behavior today, folks. I'm on my best behavior. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, all right? Don't make me use my tough cookie voice. What's my tough cookie voice, you might ask? My tough cookie voice is basically this voice, but only a little meaner, I guess. I don't know. Don't make me use it. No, whatever you do. Yeah, don't make him do it. Don't make him use the voice. Don't make Tough Cookie use the mean voice. Tough Cookie's actually a pretty good wrestler. I'm ready for some football. You guys ready for some football? Go Rams. I know this looks like a Giants helmet, but they don't have a Rams looking one. That's the only one on here. Go Rams. All right, enough of the things with the football and the wrestling guy. Enough. Hi, guys. Thanks for being here. I just want to say hi, and I also want to thank you guys so much for being here. And, it just makes my heart happy to see you guys all in here. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you. Trucker John wants to make sure you guys know we'll be on tomorrow, right after House Sparks, for the House Sparks after show hangout. That's what he likes to call it. So we'll see you then. Right after House Sparks, we'll have a hangout. Let's hang out. Tomorrow at about 11 or thereabouts, whenever Hal gets over. Come on over here. We'll hang out some more. All right? Thanks, guys. All right, thanks, Paul, the Purple Beard guy. Thanks for that reminder. Now we do the what are we doing? The words of the day, wisdom of the day, words of wisdom of the day, the wise words of wisdom of the day. Make sure you guys get a piece of paper and a pen. Write these down. They're really valuable things to go by. Okay, you ready? So for today's words of wisdom, let me get my hair fixed. My hair is kind of staticky. I don't know. All right, today's words of wisdom are as follows. Are you ready?
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.